Hello there. This is the second in a series of videos I started showing how I approach learning a new song, and we chose Kentucky Blues. So this is part 2. Now in the original one we looked at the basic picking pattern and the chord structure, so it may be a bit simple, a bit rough, but it's a way to start to get a hold of the song and to learn how to play it before we start to try and play it more fluidly. Now for today's session we're going to listen to a portion of Dennis Little Hat Jones' original version. So I've tuned the guitar, the capo's on the 1st fret, and it's just about in tune with the original version. Let's listen now to the introduction and the first verse instrumental to Kentucky Blues. Now we figured that it was in E, although I've got the cap on the 1st fret, I'm talking about the chord shape E, and we figured that we played it in this way in its simplified form to sound as much like it as we possibly can get. And that's where we got in video 1, and we had a look at the chord shapes, which were basically E. We said we'd use A7, but we're going to change that today. B7, and we ran that B7 up, and then we ran back down. Finished off with E again. So a really nice, interesting turnaround, an introduction there, and a very simple chord structure for the verse. But it's the magic that he's doing with his fingers that make it so special. Let's take a look at the intro and some tablature that kind of fits in with what we're hearing. And now we move on to the verse, and the first set of tablature sounds like this. And here are my hands in close-up again for this basic picking pattern. Now the idea is that we start with a basic pattern and we move deeper into it and try and make it more like the original or more interesting in whatever way we can. Now if we listen to the original, we hear something different. Listen again. So we do hear, but there's something else there. Can you hear? At the same time, we hear down, 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 down. Now that's really tough to do with an E shape. We're running down on the E chord, but we've also got this. So we've got a bit of a problem here. We started out, we think that it's in E, but to get those two notes at the same time as the high E rundown is very, very tricky. So maybe he's not playing in E, or maybe it's an open tuning. At this point we just don't know. So let's plough ahead with the E chord, the E shape, because invariably everybody plays it this way, and we'll see where we go. Now, because to get these sounds is a bit difficult, I've approximated it, and when I start the rundown on the high E string, I put my finger across both the high strings, and it sounds like this. And it's not exactly the same as the original, but it sounds a little bit more interesting. Let's take a look at my hands again. And now I move on to the A7, and originally in our basic version when we were learning how to play, we did use an A7. And back to E. But listen again to the original and listen for some extra notes in there. Here we go. So you can hear this something else. There's a discord. There's a note here that it plays with his thumb, and it runs down at the same time. Here are my hands again. So now we're looking a little bit deeper, and we're finding out that there are hidden things, little subtle things that first don't register with our ears, and we're going to learn how to put these in. It's all part of the learning process for learning a song. We could leave it as basic as we like, or we can go a little bit deeper and try and work out those extra things that we need to include and try and lift our playing up to the next level. The next video we're going to ask a couple of questions about this song Kentucky Blues. First of all, is it really played in E or some other tuning? We'll take a look at that later. And the other thing, listen to the picking pattern. It's really not a clean finger picking pattern at all. So he's maybe strumming with a pick at the same time, or using a thumb pick strumming across all the strings, or strumming and picking in a kind of a hybrid Big Bill Broomsy style. We're not quite sure yet, and that's what we'll look at next time. Have a lot of fun with it. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.